This month, a familiar flashpoint re-emerged as the focus of the Russia-Ukraine war. The imposing 13-mile bridge between Russia and the occupied Ukrainian territory of Crimea stands as both a strategic and symbolic target for Ukraine. On June 3rd, the Ukrainians claimed that they had secretly attached a ton of explosives to one of the pillars of the bridge under the surface. The attack was overseen by the head of the Ukrainian SBU security service, General Vasyl Malyuk, who said the bridge was an absolutely legitimate target, especially considering the enemy used it as a logistical artery to supply its troops. Kira Rudik is a Ukrainian member of parliament.
Crimea is Ukraine. Kerch Bridge is not supposed to be there. It's a valid military target. And for us, of course, it's a reminder that Crimea is Ukraine, and we will not give up on it and on people who are remaining there.
This was not the first Ukrainian attempt to attack the bridge. The first came in 2022 when they exploded a truck bomb on the bridge that was so powerful it set a nearby train on fire and stopped traffic for several weeks. The next attack came in 2023 when the Ukrainians used their speedy sea drones to attack the pillars of the heavily defended bridge. Yes. They documented their attack in a video released by the Ukrainian security service. Yes! The Ukrainian drone pilots were ecstatic that they were able to take out one lane of the bridge, but again the Russians were able to repair it. The bridge is such an important target because it stands as the most powerful symbol of the success of Russian President Putin's campaign to seize Ukrainian territory. He proudly inaugurated the bridge after it was built in 2018, and he has had himself filmed numerous times as he personally drove over it, in a truck, in a car, and in a train. Now the bridge has apparently also become a target for one of Mr. Putin's powerful new enemies. The new German Chancellor Friedrich Merz gave Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky a hero's welcome in Berlin a few weeks ago and promised to provide Ukraine with long-range missiles and weapons to be used against Russia.
Es wird hierbei keine Reichweitenbeschränkungen geben. Die Ukraine kann sich damit vollumfänglich verteidigen, auch gegen militärische Ziele außerhalb des eigenen Staatsgebiets.
In a remarkable interview on the ARD network, Chancellor Merz also spelled out what he considered a good target for German and Ukrainian missiles. Once again, the Kerch Bridge.
Die wichtigste Landverbindung zwischen Russland und der Krim zerstört wird. Auf der Krim, wo der größte Teil des militärischen Nachschubs für die russische Armee liegt, das wäre eine Möglichkeit, dieses Land nun endlich mal strategisch auch nochmal im Begriff zu bleiben, vor die Lage zu bringen.
Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov lashed back at Merz shortly after the Zelensky visit.
Германия сползает по той же наклонной плоскости, по которой она пару раз в прошлом веке уже двигалась вниз к своему краху. Надеюсь, что ответственные политики в этой стране все-таки сделают правильный вывод и остановят безумие.
Key to this discussion is the Taurus, a German-Swedish cruise missile that has a range of 500 kilometers and is more powerful than any Western missile that has been provided to Ukraine up to now. Taurus missiles fly low to evade radar and use GPS, satellite imaging, as well as artificial intelligence-enabled infrared cameras to observe the terrain and navigate to a target without contact with an operator. The Germans have already developed detailed plans for how they could help the Ukrainians use the Taurus to knock out the Kerch Bridge. The details came in the leak of a secret telephone call last year involving General Ingar Gerhardt, the head of the German Air Force.
Ja, schönen guten Tag zusammen.
Gerhardt was discussing with his senior officers the possible delivery of Taurus missiles to Ukraine and the Ukrainians' desire to use them to destroy the Kerch Bridge.
Wir alle wissen ja, dass sie die Brücke rausnehmen wollen. Das ist klar, wissen wir auch, was das am Ende bedeutet. Dann ist die Versorgung dieser so wichtig, nicht nur militärisch strategisch wichtig, auch so ein bisschen. Man muss auch. Ja.
Ich gerne nochmal schnell ergänzen wegen der Brücke, weil wir die uns intensiv angeguckt haben und die Brücke ist leider aufgrund ihrer Größe wie ein Flugplatz. Das heißt, es kann durchaus sein, dass ich dafür 10 oder 20 Flugkörper brauche.
The German officers suggest that the German defense minister, Boris Pistorius, was in favor of the Taurus missile deployment, but that then Chancellor Olaf Scholz was against it.
Sondern dass er nochmal Pistorius gesehen hat durch diese ganze Diskussion, die da immer und immer wieder kommt. Und die kommt natürlich, weil keiner so richtig weiß, warum blockt der Kanzler hier.
Теперь новость, которая пришла незадолго до нашего выпуска.
The telephone call became public because it was recorded by Russian intelligence through a security breach and released on the airwaves of Kremlin propaganda channels. The editor-in-chief of the Russia Today channel is Margarita Simonyan.
Без их разрешения, не ставя никого в известность, по сути, Третью мировую войну. Поразительно, что главный вопрос, который их волнует в связи с этим, это не вопрос о том, как они будут за это отвечать. Это не вопрос о том, как ответит Россия, что она разбомбит в ответ в Германии, и чем это вообще закончится, и чем закончилось в прошлый раз, когда Германия бомбила наши мосты.
Hans von der Burhardt is the Berlin correspondent for Politico Europe.
It's a laughable argument. It's very clear that Germany is not only a democracy, but also that Russia is the aggressor here, that this whole military support for Ukraine is only about allowing Ukraine to defend itself.
Still, after the phone call release, Germany's then Social Democratic Chancellor Olaf Scholz immediately beat a retreat and said that Germany had no plans to provide Taurus missiles to Ukraine.
So Scholz was always playing with this image of being the peace chancellor who will ensure peace. But he was also, especially when it comes to Taurus, he was very much concerned about a potential Russian escalation. Merz is really driven by, okay, how do we solve this conflict? What does Ukraine really need now? Show strength to Putin.
Before he became chancellor, Friedrich Merz said he saw no reason Germany should withhold the Taurus missiles, a statement that especially aggravated the Russians. Yesterday, Vladimir Putin pointed directly to the Taurus missile.
Невозможно применять Таурусы без немецких офицеров. Только немецкие офицеры смогут управлять Таурусами. А что же это такое, как не втягивание Федеративной Республики в прямую вооруженный конфликт с Российской Федерацией? Будут Таурусы или не будут, бессмысленно абсолютно.
Over the last year, there has been a steady drumbeat of threats to attack Germany on Russian propaganda channels.
И они в ужасе от этого. Если у нас есть это видео, покажите, пожалуйста.
Host Vladimir Solovyov showed video of massive damage inflicted on Ukraine cities by Russian bombing.
Вы понимаете, что так будут выглядеть города Германии? Только к ним мы будем гораздо жестче. Мы просто все снесем.
MP Kira Rudek says Russian threats are not believable.
Let's look at Russia's position since the day one, when they were constantly saying, if something like this would happen, then we will remove all the red lines. They have been threatening the world with this Third World War, and they have been saying it about everything. Again, you should be looking at what Russia does.
On a recent visit to Ukraine, Defense Minister Boris Pistorius promised $2.2 billion worth of aid. But in the face of Russian threats, he said Germany had no plan to deliver the Taurus missile now.
Meine Antwort nein.
In its much-heralded long-range drone raid on Russian bombers on June 1st, Ukraine announced that it had destroyed 37 aircraft. But post-raid satellite photos of the air bases showed that only 12 Russian aircraft were actually destroyed. No Russians died in the attack. Meanwhile, Russia is attacking Ukraine with up to 500 explosive drones every night. And dozens of Ukrainian civilians have died in recent weeks. There is a strong imbalance in the cost of war to the two sides, but still Ukrainians say they do not want to answer by attacking Russian civilians.
We are not terrorists. This is very simple. We are not terrorists. And from whatever operations Ukraine is conducting, we know that killing civilians is not our purpose or not our intention at all. We want them to leave us alone. We want them to go away. And this is the main goal.
Having been pressured to back off his proposal to supply Taurus missiles, Chancellor Merz says Germany's future military contributions to Ukraine will be kept secret.